Welcome to the Walking Dread podcast, your daily dose of spooky stories.
Deliciously spooky.
Yeah, I'm Adrian, and I'm thrilled to be your guide into the shadowy corners of the world.
I'm Julia, and I'm here to dissect the truth behind these terrifying tales.
So, are you ready for a story that's more chilling than a graveyard at midnight? We're setting sail today for a journey into the heart of maritime mystery, the infamous Mary Celeste.
Ooh, the Mary Celeste.
Now, forget your typical ghost ship cliches. This is something far stranger.
Right, it's not haunted by spectral figures, but by something far more insidious.
The ship itself.
The ship itself.
Imagine this. You're a sailor named Tom, drawn to the Mary Celeste by an inexplicable pull. You touch the ship's rail, and an unnatural coldness seeps into your bones. A taste of the curse that awaits.
A taste. It's not a curse that seeks to destroy, but to bind.
To bind, okay.
And Mary Celeste doesn't want a crew.
He wants a captain.
It wants a captain, someone to steer it on its eternal voyage.
Eternal voyage. And that's where we find the captain's log. A chilling chronicle of the previous captain's descent into madness, he writes, of a whispering fog. A compass spinning wildly, a feeling of being utterly lost, not just at sea, but in time itself.
Ooh.
Lost in time.
These log entries aren't just ramblings, they're clues.
Clues.
They hint at the nature of the curse, a timeless prison where food doesn't rot and water never runs dry.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Okay.
So, it's not death the curse inflicts, but a twisted form of immortality.
Twisted, right.
Trapped forever on a ship, adrift in a silent sea, surrounded by a fog that whispers secrets you can't quite grasp. I don't know about you, but that's way creepier than any ghost story.
It taps into a primal fear, doesn't it? The fear of isolation, of losing your grip on reality, of being trapped in a situation with no escape.
No escape. And it gets even weirder.
Weirder.
Remember Tom, our intrepid sailor? He decides to explore this floating prison and discovers a hastily patched hole in the hull, as if something had breached the ship from the outside.
Not just breached it, but escaped it. This wasn't the cause of the crew's disappearance. But the aftermath, something came up from the depths, took them and left its mark on the ship.
And where was this patch? Right in the hold. The darkest, most isolated part of the ship.
A hold. Oh.
And you guessed it, that's where the fog whispers its secrets, promising not escape, but a different kind of oblivion.
Ooh, a different kind of oblivion, yeah.
Oblivion.
An oblivion that might be more terrifying than death itself, the loss of self, the merging with the ship and its curse.
Tom tries to shake off this growing sense of dread, but he keeps finding himself drawn back to the captain's log, realizing it's not just a record of madness, but a guide to navigating this cursed existence. And then he notices something even more unsettling.
Oh.
The final entry is missing.
Missing. Oh.
As if the curse itself is demanding he finish the story.
He has to finish it.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Tom picks up the pen, feeling an almost irresistible compulsion to write. And as he does, the ship lurches violently, not on any wave, on some unseen current.
Okay.
The fog howls, and it sounds almost like screaming.
What do you mean?
The ship is reacting to him, to his decision to embrace its narrative.
Oh.
He's not just a prisoner. He's becoming part of the story.
Part of the story.
And what does he write? Not a plea for help, but a chilling warning. Follow me into the mist. It's as if he's accepted his fate, or maybe even embraced it.
Or perhaps the curse is writing through him, using his hand to lure more victims into its grasp.
Think about that for a moment. What if those weren't Tom's words, but the ship's will expressing itself? It makes you wonder what happens to Tom after he writes those words.
Well, the sailor we knew, the one who boarded the Mary Celeste seeking answers, he ceases to be.
He's gone.
The mist envelops him, twisting him, transforming him into something different.
So the Mary Celeste is no longer just a ghost ship. It's become a siren, luring other vessels into the same gray oblivion that entrapped Tom. And what's truly terrifying is that sometimes the fog thins, just enough for other ships to glimpse the Mary Celeste. They see a lone figure on the bridge, shrouded in mist. What do you think they see, Julia?
I think they see a warning, a glimpse into a fate they'd do anything to avoid.
A warning, yeah. And the right to be afraid, because that figure on the bridge isn't a ghost. It's Tom.
Or what's left of him.
Or what's left of him, right. But here's the chilling twist.
Okay.
He's not a prisoner.
Oh.
He's the pilot.
So he's not trying to escape the curse?
He's spreading it.
He's spreading it? That's next level creepy.
Oh, I know, right?
It's like the Mary Celeste is a virus and Tom is patient zero.
Exactly. He's become the embodiment of the curse, a monstrous evangelist for the ship's sinister mission.
Okay, but what does this all mean? Why a captain? Why this eternal voyage? Is it some kind of twisted punishment? Or is it something else?
You know what's fascinating here is that the curse isn't driven by malice,
No.
but by a strange, almost desperate need.
Okay.
The Mary Celeste isn't a vengeful spirit. It's an empty vessel, yearning to be filled, a journey that must continue even if it leads only to further darkness.
So it's like the ship is incomplete without a captain. It's a journey with no destination, no purpose, except to perpetuate itself.
That's bleak even for a horror story.
It is. It speaks to a deep-seated fear, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The fear of meaninglessness, of being trapped in a cycle without end.
And the fog, it's like a physical manifestation of that fear.
Yes.
This all-encompassing, isolating presence
Yeah.
that slowly erodes your sense of self, your grip on reality.
The fog is such a brilliant element in this story.
It is.
In literature and folklore, fog is often associated with the liminal, the in-between spaces where reality blurs.
The in-between.
It's a place of uncertainty, of shifting perspectives where things are not what they seem.
So it's like the fog is a veil between our world and the realm of the Mary Celeste. And once you're inside that veil, the rules change, time becomes meaningless, logic breaks down, and the ship's will becomes your own.
That's a good way to put it, and that brings us back to the theme of free will versus compulsion.
Okay.
Was Tom truly in control when he wrote those final words in the log?
Right.
Or was he simply a puppet manipulated by the ship to further its own agenda?
I mean, the guy was clearly losing it. He was isolated, surrounded by this creepy fog, reading the ramblings of a madman. Maybe the curse isn't supernatural, but psychological, a kind of contagious madness that spreads from captain to captain.
That's a very interesting interpretation. It raises the question, is the curse a force that acts upon us or a weakness within ourselves that the ship exploits?
I see what you mean.
Are we drawn to the Mary Celeste, or does it call to something dark and hidden within us all?
Okay, now that's getting philosophical. But I think you're onto something. Maybe the real horror isn't the ship itself, but what it reveals about ourselves, our vulnerability to isolation, to suggestion, to the allure of the unknown.
Exactly, and that's what makes this story so much more than just a spooky tale. It's a reflection on the human condition, on the fragility of our sanity, on the forces, both internal and external, that can lead us astray.
And then there's the tragedy of it all. What if Tom deep down wanted to be free? What if his final act was a desperate attempt to share his burden, to find some twisted solace in not being alone?
That's a heartbreaking thought, to be so consumed by the curse that even your attempts at defiance only serve to perpetuate it.
But what about those who manage to resist the call of the Mary Celeste? Those who see the ship in the distance, shrouded in mist, and turn away. Are they truly safe?
Perhaps they are, but the Mary Celeste serves as a warning, a reminder that the sea is a place of hidden depths, both literal and metaphorical.
Hidden depths.
Yeah.
It's a place where the boundaries of reality can blur, where our deepest fears can take shape, and where the consequences of our choices can echo long after we're gone.
It's a reminder that sometimes the most terrifying monsters are the ones we create ourselves. The ones that dwell in the shadows of our minds, waiting for the right moment to emerge.
You know, this whole story reminds me of another famous maritime legend, the Flying Dutchman.
Oh, the Flying Dutchman.
Both ships are doomed to sail forever, harbingers of bad luck, eternally searching for something they can never find.
That's a great connection, and both legends tap into a similar vein of fear and fascination. The vastness of the sea, the isolation of a long voyage, the sense that there are forces at play beyond our control. It's no wonder these stories have endured for centuries.
It's like they're tapping into some primal fear, some ancient anxiety about the unknown, the untamed.
And that's the power of good horror, isn't it?
Yeah.
It takes our deepest fears, the ones we try to bury deep down, and gives them form.
Gives them form.
It makes us confront the darkness, both within ourselves and in the world around us.
It's a safe way to explore the unsafe, to confront the monsters in the closet and the shadows under the bed.
Exactly. And the Mary Celeste, with its whispering fog, its monstrous helmsman, and its eternal voyage, is a perfect embodiment of that primal horror.
And it leaves us with so many questions. What really happened to the original crew? What lies within that impenetrable fog? What fate awaits those who answer the siren call of the Mary Celeste?
Those are questions we may never answer, but perhaps that's part of the allure. The mystery, the unknown, the possibility that something truly sinister lurks just beyond our understanding.
And that's a thought that will stay with me long after this podcast is over.
It's a story that reminds us that the sea, for all its beauty and wonder, is also a place of profound mystery and potential danger.
You know, it's funny, we've been talking about this story as if it's just a story, but the Mary Celeste was a real ship. It was found adrift in 1872, completely intact, But with no crew to this day, no one knows what happened to them.
That's right. And that real-life mystery only adds to the power of the legend. It gives it a weight, a sense of authenticity that makes it all the more unsettling.
Because somewhere out there in the vastness of the ocean, that ship really did exist. And maybe, just maybe, it's still out there shrouded in mist waiting for its next captain.
Ooh, that's a chilling thought. And it speaks to the power of stories like this. They tap into something primal, something that resonates deep within our collective psyche.
It's like these stories are warnings from the deep, reminding us of the fragility of our existence, the forces that we can't control, the mysteries that lie just beyond our grasp.
And it's not just about the sea, is it? The Mary Celeste can be seen as a metaphor for any number of things. The allure of the unknown, the dangers of isolation, the seductive power of obsession.
Or even the idea that our attempts to fight fate can sometimes backfire, leading us deeper into the darkness we're trying to escape. Like Tom trying to break the curse, but becoming its ultimate servant.
It's a cautionary tale for sure, a reminder that sometimes the greatest danger isn't out there in the world, but within ourselves.
Within ourselves.
Yeah.
Our own curiosity, our ambition, our desire for connection, these things can lead us down dark paths if we're not careful.
And sometimes the best course of action is simply to turn away, to resist the siren call of the unknown, and to acknowledge that there are some mysteries that are better left unsolved.
So the next time you see a fog rolling in, or hear a whisper on the wind, remember the tale of the Mary Celeste. Remember that the sea holds secrets. And sometimes the most terrifying things are the ones we can't explain.
And remember, sometimes the bravest thing you can do is to turn away from the darkness and sail towards the light.
Well, on that note, I think we've reached the end of our journey into the heart of the Mary Celeste. But don't forget to rate and follow the Walking Dread podcast for more chilling stories like this one. We'll be back tomorrow with another tale of terror. Until then, sleep tight and don't let the fog roll in.